Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Caithness Amateur Dram Antique Society tasting. Tonight, I'm going to be tasting and reviewing three recent releases by the independent bottler Lady of the Glen. I've got a BENRINNES 11-year-old 2013, a TEANINICH 2014 10-year-old, and a CRAIGELLACHIE 2013 12-year-old, all bottled in the last 2 or 3 months. So, Lady of the Glen were founded by Gregor Hanna, who had an interest in whiskey from an early age. His father was a Scottish piper, and he received bottles as thank you gifts for performing at celebrations such as weddings and Burns nights. And they created a beautiful collection of colours and shapes, with, of course, the intriguing names and intricate label designs. And his son Gregor developed a deep appreciation for whiskey. It was 25 years later, when he was working in a bar, that Gregor's passion for independent bottling was ignited. And that led him to start Lady of the Glen in 2012. They're an independently owned Scottish brand that hand sources and bottles rare single cask whiskies from across Scotland. They now have their own warehouse, so they no longer have to leave the cask in the distillery. They source the cask and then transport them to their own warehouse. And Gregor was keen for the brand to embody the essence of Scotland, but also give a fresh contemporary feel. And the name is an homage to the Green Lady ghost purported to roam around Stirling Castle. And also the labelling has a sort of vibrant purple to reflect the vibrant purple of the Scottish wildflower. It brings international whisky enthusiasts an exclusive taste of Scotland's spirit. And that involves a bit of detective work and a bit of magic as well, as they seek, source, and look after rare single malt whiskies from independent distilleries across Scotland and turn them into something special through traditional bottling techniques. All of their brand releases are bottled, hand bottled at natural cask strength with no chill filtering and colouring. So they're integrity single malts. And each bottle, alongside its distinctive floral label, receives a hand detailed number, making the bottles as individual as the whiskey they contain. So let's see where we're going with this. We've got the BENRINNES first of all. So this is a BENRINNES 2013 11-year-old at cask strength 56.4%. It was matured in a first spill bourbon barrel. The cask number is 311808. It was distilled on the 15th of July 2013 and bottled on the 3rd of February 2025, so just a little over 2 months ago. Or just a little, but under 2 months ago. I'm doing this on the 29th of March 2025, so only 214 bottles and bottled at 56.4%. So BENRINNES was founded in 1826, and it's known for producing a robust and complex distillate with nutty, malty, floral and fruity notes. This one's been matured in first spill ex-bourbon, and most BENRINNES is matured in sherry, so be interesting to see how this one goes. BENRINNES is a full-bodied Speyside, and Lydia and Glen have done recent releases in Oloroso and port cask, but they decided to look at this one fully matured in a fresh bourbon barrel as an alternative. So let's see what we have here. It's very pale in colour, pale straw colour. Has a thin tide line, quite thin tiers. And on the nose, I'm getting some mashed potatoes and celeriac, butter, chalk, and dandelions and grass. Quite floral. Some gentian, some baking fresh croissants, and marmalade, and some fudge and pancakes. Floral and fruit aromas. And there's some nutty and malty notes. Light floral, light fruit. Let's see what the mouth is like. I'm getting some apple strudel. Also a bit of wood. It's like a woody workshop. And honey on toast. It is bright and like quite citrusy and grassy. Zests and honey. Bready, malty. Touch of lemon, nugget, and vanilla, of course, with the bourbon cask. A little bit of peppers, spice, and some hotness in the background. There's citrus, mint, so it's slightly oily, and you get a sort of rich sea salt caramel with hazelnuts and a hint of nugget. And the finish is long and lemony, lime, yuzu. It's a wee tad hotter and muddier in the finish. Touches of raw kirsch. It's got a warm aftertaste with a hint of spice. I'm going to try a ml of water in this. Yeah, it's probably a bit early to see. Now you get more of a sort of custard, vanilla custard. More bread, dough, grist, and a softer citrus. And with water, it becomes a little sweeter. Heather honey and limoncello, tight citrus, lemon with pine needles and a touch of sugar cane syrup. finish is medium long and much the same as the palate and the flavours. Slight chalkiness in the aftertaste and a touch of flour as well. So it tastes much younger than its age statement, but it's a rather flawless spirit. It's a very good malt whisky altogether. Just for me, a little bit too middle of the road for my taste. So I'm going to cleanse my palate. And my McAllister's or Lidl's oat cake, very neutral, no saltiness there really. So the next one is a TEANINICH, which I've reviewed at least one of these before. This one is a 2014 10-year-old bottle at 53%, and it had a Madeira quarter cask finish, cask number 713240. It's bottled at 53% ABV, and TEANINICH is known for its balance of fruit, floral and spicy notes, and a finish of sort of nugget, star anise and mixed spice. This one was distilled on the 23rd of June 2014 and bottled on the 4th of February 2025. It yielded only 179 bottles. So this one was matured first of all in a hogshead and then finished in a first fill ex Madeira wine barrel from Josepher Bodega, and we're looking for layers of walnut and caramel. So TEANINICH is one of Scotland's largest malt whisky distilleries, and it's known for producing a light and dry spirit, which is considered to be a blank canvas to offer additional cask flavours. The final maturation of this one in the ex Madeira quarter cask was for 6 months, where the small size of the barrel, a quarter cask, allows for a faster influence of the walnut and caramel flavours. So this one's a bit darker, 10 years old, but it is darker than the BENRINNES, which was 13 years old, I think. And it's got slightly more tears, the tide line's a bit more obvious there. And you know, you definitely know that you're in the Highlands here. I'm getting candied orange peel and chocolate notes. Apple crumble, orange peels, vanilla custard and a buttery barley, along with a sort of nutty meringue, spiced biscuits and clotted cream. There's lots of butterscotch in this. Toffee, spice, and sort of mellow herbal notes. It's a bit waxy with cracked pepper, tarragon, ginger, and roasty notes of chocolate barley, and a sort of dark beer, some butterscotch, caramel, toffee pudding, milky tea, and strawberries. And it's fruity from the Madeira. Let's try them out. And soft, creamy layers of vanilla lead the way. And there's a delicate dusting of nutmeg in there as well. Orange and nugget sweetness. Cinnamon, white pepper, and star anise flavours. But then you get the fruit, the fresh peaches and apricots, with a mellow oak and a touch of gingerbread, nugget, star anise, and mixed spice, and butterscotch again. It's almost like a Karamak. Turkish delight. It's fizzy and sour, tangy candy. And the finish is long, warming spice from the oak, a lingering sweet caramel chocolate sweeties. I'm going to give this one a mill as well. Maybe just under a mill. And now the tears are quite pronounced. Again, much thicker tears this time. And it still has the butterscotch and the spice. And lots of delicious fruit. And more subtle notes of citrus and black tea. And the water on the mouth ramps up the Christmas spices, loses some of the fruitiness. Tea, hay, and grapefruit. And becomes spicier, slightly woodier. Still lots of caramel there on the finish. You know, TEANINICH is a favourite of mine. I can't recall ever having had a bad TEANINICH. And this is adding to that. So I'm going to cleanse my palate again. So the third of these three is a CRAIGELLACHIE, distilled on the 20th of January 2013, bottled on the 29th of January 2025. So it's a 12-year-old, just a 12-year-old. CRAIGELLACHIE is another of my like distilleries. This one yielded only 332 bottles and was bottled at quite a whopping 60.5%. It had an Oloroso hogshead finish in cask number 300805A. So CRAIGELLACHIE is one of Spaceside's heavier distillates due to its fast fermentation, and there's little reflux on the large stills. And it uses worm tub condensers, which And this one, it's been combined perfectly in a combination of two different ex-Oloroso casks. The first 11 years in a very active refill Oloroso, but it was then finished over 18 months in the warehouse in an ex-Oloroso hogshead, which turbocharged the sherry influence. So let's see what we have here. It is quite dark. 12-year-old CRAIGELLACHIE. Will we get struck match? Hope so. And it's got thinner tears than the TEANINICH, less sticky perhaps than the Madeira. Well, it's not a sherry bomb, but you do get walnut stain, furniture polish, pecan pie, maple syrup, peanut butter, and sort of pancakes with Mars bar, deep fried Mars bars, and engine oil, and dry roasted peanuts, macadamia nuts, sesame oil, which makes it almost smoky, and it's very, very nice nose. Only way in the background do you get the struck match. But you also get praline and black nugget, pistachio halves, stuff like that, bone dry, acidic, like it's a mineral Riesling, apple cider vinegar, touches of that, and grapefruits, lemons and lime. Nice nose. Try them out. And you get a tiny metallic soapy note in the arrival, which is not unusual with CRAIGELLACHIE in sherry cask. But it's most pleasant. It's nutty flavours with drops of stout, and it's almost like an old panel cortado finish. Cinnamon, donut, rich fruit cake, and rolling tobacco. And you got that sort of tobacco, eating tobacco. Lapsang Souchong tea, big time, and green walnut liqueur. It's mineral, extremely Riesling-esque, and it's really chock full of the tartest citrus. And the finish is rather long, with a little smoke, otherwise sort of chalky and lemony, touches of rapeseed and linseed oils, with a hit of pastis in the aftertaste. I'm going to try a mill in this, which will take this 60.5% dram down to the low to mid 50s, I suspect. Might need a little more. We'll see how we do. Lovely colour still in this. Quite a dark. See the effect of the full Oloroso maturation, but piped up a bit with the change into a hogshead for the last 18 months. And now it's like opening up your record collection or buying a new LP, vinyl record, new vinyl record, freshly sawn oak, nutmeg, earthy, pine cones. What's in it? There's a whiff of sulphur. Not much strut mat. Mushrooms. The blackest black chocolate. The sherry's really kind of quite leathery and tobacco. And the sherry comes out when water's added. Leather and tobacco. Much drier and even saltier development. Walnuts, leather and truffles. And again the finish is long, with a little smoke, chalkiness and lemon, touches of rapeseed and linseed oils, and still get that hint of pastis in the aftertaste. So, you know, with this one, I think really we've kind of mastered it. For a CRAIGELLACHIE, it's as good as it gets. It even reminds me of some batches of Glen 105. So, you know, these three whiskies, BENRINNES, I think, is probably best suited to sherry maturation. This bourbon maturation was okay-ish. The TEANINICH is a lovely dram. It's nice to taste the TEANINICH with a Madeira Cask finish, giving it that fruitiness. And the CRAIGELLACHIE is just masterful. So thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.